Merry Christmas Eve. My voice has been going back and forth. It's cold. It's gonna snow where I am, which is strange because it's like never snowed here ever, and that means the end is nigh. Things are happening. Hope we all survive this, because I have a feeling something big is going to happen, whether it be a blizzard, whether it be something. It's just going to be like one of those Noah's Ark type of things. I don't think it's going to be the rapture necessarily, but I do believe it's going to be something that wipes the slate clean. It's going to be, because equal exchange must occur. If bad things are torn asunder, so do good things. Like, that's why when Obama left office, we got Donald Bump. But I digress. So we are finally here. We are finally at the last one. Hope y'all enjoyed this very positive, very fast, quick uploading, because I don't think I'll ever be able to do this again. Even with packing, even with Christmas, even with all this stuff, I was able to do this, even though my throat hurts and sometimes it's like, it feels like it's my voice is leaving. I got this done. 12 days of Christmas movies. 12 days of Christmas movies. We are finally here. I hope y'all enjoyed me publishing quickly, because it may not be like that for a very long time. So let's just get right into it. Before we get started, let me just say to everyone, and I might say this at the end as well, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. There are more than just Christians in the world, so there should be a lot more religions celebrated, and appreciated. But I digress. 12 Days of Christmas movies. The last one is one of my favorite movies of all time that comes on every holiday. And it's a real short one. It's one that I like it. Like, most of these are, you could fall asleep from eating too much and totally wake up and it's in the same spot you left it, because it's such a quick movie. It's on and off very quickly. So this movie, A Christmas Story. A Christmas Story is about a little boy who wants a gun, a BB gun, and it starts, the whole precipice starts out with him looking through a window with his friends at Rough Rider or something. It's some writer. It's basically like a shoot 'em up, bang 'em up Clint Eastwood guy. Yeah. So it sets off the tone. That's what he wants. He wants something of his. And his mom asked him what he wants for Christmas. So he he tries to beat around the bush, because he doesn't want her to say no outright, really. And he was talking about Tinker Toys or something ridiculous. But this family is really strange, composed of a little brother who's insane. He eats every time they eat, you can't look at him, because either he's covered in food and it's gross, or he's got food flown everywhere. It's pretty funny, because it's just I've never had siblings, so I don't know how siblings would act. I never did that because I was a clean child. Digressing. The mom is also crazy. She's crazy, and she acts like she doesn't hear her husband curse every day, and is confused when her son curses, but that's later. So he ends up telling her what he wants, a BB gun, and she's like, "You'll shoot your eye out. I'm not going to get you that crap." And he's like, "Well, it's spoiled." He's like, "Wait a second. I can help my cause by getting my teacher to persuade." So there's this thing that they have to do at school called a theme. I guess it's like a what I want for Christmas. We called them journals. I don't know about y'all, but when I was in school and I took classes for writing and stuff or whatever, they made us write journals, and there were journal entries, and they were daily. But this boy gets to make a theme just because it's Christmas or whatever. They do it they said, it wasn't something they did every day. We had to get out our books and do a journal every day. But that was just because I was in a good school, a nice, good black school well funded, and I know for sure that I will be giving money back to that school when I return for the reunion. I will be giving them a check, most definitely, because black kids go there. But it's just this thing, this little boy, we're in this little boy's mind. He basically makes these situations in his mind to where his parents are actually going to want him to have a BB gun. Like, people rob their house or whatever in his mind. They're trying to rob his house. So he uses the BB gun that he doesn't have yet. And how are you supposed to prove to them that the BB gun is a good thing when you have to have the BB gun in order to show them if that's what you're going to do? And I think that's interesting that they got Richard Pryor to play one of the robbers. Not really, but he looks like it if you see him. But basically, from afar, he doesn't really look like Richard Pryor. I was just kidding. But he's shooting him with the BB gun, the BB gun. And for some reason they know it's Ralph. Like, it's just hilarious that he does this like 6 times. He like has this thing in his mind, but it's like a kid. It's a kid's perspective. He basically like saves his family with this BB gun, and they're like, "Oh, thank goodness you got the BB gun, because if you didn't, we would all die." And he's just in his mind thinking about it. And it's like, yeah, that's gonna happen. Can't wait for that to happen. Hate to laugh at a child's dreams. But the father is just like a hothead loser, scrub. How'd you get that wife if you're that way? Like, honestly, every time I see these scenarios, like, it's insane. I would never expect any person that I was dealing with for any amount of time, longer than a month, to treat me a certain way like that. And that comes from experience. So, like, I feel like every person's going to have a relationship that they're not being, because they want to give more than they're receiving. But once people learn that you have to give as much as you receive in a relationship, people won't be subjected to abuse, physically, mentally, or emotionally. Emotionally and mentally are kind of 2 different things, because it may tie in, but I'm getting way. So here's another scene where the father is cursing out of his mind. He goes down to the whatever basement or something to fix something, and the mom's just sitting there like, "Oh, I guess I better sit here and not do anything, but I guess I better." Griswold's mom had more initiative than this woman. It's kind of like horrible to see, but it's like, I know women are out there like that. So it's like, I can't be too mad at the director or whoever made this movie, because some women are like that, and it's a shame. It's like, can they please be sent to some exile island? They can call it Stepford Wife Island if they want to, but it's just like, I hate women like that. It's just, I can't. But so she gets her sons gussied up and dressed up completely for school, and like, he's like, his brother, can't remember his brother's name, but he can't put his arms down, and it's like a kiki chuckle. Like, I'm sorry if I don't sound very enthusiastic about this movie, because I really like it, but I don't feel well. And that's just like a warning for the rest of the shindig. This is probably going to be the longest one, because I do enjoy this movie, and I can recite it without even like watching it. But they go and they walk to school, and then that's when we meet his friends officially. We saw them in the beginning, but I really don't understand. Like, I never had a bully like this. Like, they have 2 bullies. They've got Farkas, I think his name is, and then I don't know what the little boy's name is, because it's not potent to the story. Like, but they all walk to school, and each person gets picked up by like them walking past their house. Basically, there's 3 of them, I think, and the brother. And then there's Farkas, and then there's this little person boy who is like his lackey. And I'm like, bruh, like, if I was ever assaulted in school, I never had like a bully type situation. It was just like catty girls, like these loser chicks that would bother me. And that's basically what happened. But it was never like I'm gonna beat you up, give me your lunch money. It was never like, even when I had arguments and debates and issues with girls, I would stare them down and they would get upset. Like, I guess because they were threatened by me, but I never had to throw hands. There was no situation in which I had to throw hands. But they don't really see the bully until the next time they go, but they go to school, and everyone has these fake teeth and stuff like that, and the what's her face. And I'm so happy to see black kids in this. Like, there are black kids, but they also put them in the same place. Like, they're in the same, they're not scattered. They're like around the same area. And I don't know. It's just like whatever. I don't think equality means little sprinkles of different things and then everyone else is Anglo-Saxon. Like, how is that equal? But I think it's cool because this woman was pregnant, and I don't understand why she couldn't be pregnant as a teacher, but they had to cover up her pregnancy, which is ridiculous because people, like, there are kids, so they came from somewhere. Like, I really don't understand why she had to cover herself being pregnant. She could have that could have been part of the movie. Like, what was that gonna do? Like, it's just one of those things where women have to do stuff extra because they're women. Why did she have to hide? Why'd she have to bond herself? Why'd she have to, like, make herself look like she wasn't pregnant? Like, make herself look fatter than she was when she was just pregnant. If they gave her flattering clothes, she wouldn't have looked so bulbous. It would have just looked like a pregnancy. But of course, women have to do above and beyond. But I digress. So, before meeting the bullies, before getting the theme, they're talking about this poll. The friends are like, oh, I double dog dare you, I triple dog dare you. And they're like, well, since you triple dog dared me, I can't say nothing about that. So this boy puts his tongue on a pole. He puts his tongue on a pole outside when it's cold. And he ain't got no water. He ain't got nothing to help him. I would never do this, even if I did have water. But he puts his tongue on there, and then the bell rings, and everyone leaves him. So it's like his friends aren't even his friends. Like, I would have been outside because it's like, at least you don't have to go to school. Like, I honestly, personally, when I was in school, I wanted to go to class. There was nothing like, even people that bothered me didn't make me not want to go to class. I also wanted to go to class to see if I wouldn't, I didn't want to miss any fights. I loved seeing rumbles. And that was a big motivation for me to go to school and not miss days. But when the bell rings, everyone leaves him because they're not his friend. There's not even a single person that wants to stay with him. They just have him flailing outside. And then when the teacher asks, hey, where's this boy? Everyone's quiet. And then the fire department comes and takes him off that pole. And then she's like, who did this? And I was just like, what do you mean who did this? If he didn't snitch and didn't say nobody made him do it, how do you know someone made him do it? Why can't a boy just be stupid and put his tongue on a pole? I don't understand why she made it seem like it was somebody else's fault. How could she have known that? I guess it's one of those things where people, it's from a little boy's perspective. So if he thinks that teachers, parents, adults in general have superpowers, maybe from his perspective telling the story, that's what happened. But it's basically like, I don't think he snitched. His mouth was gauzed out because they had to remove his thing off of a pole in it. But so I think around this time is when the theme pops up. And he's like, okay, I'll figure it out. And he was just thinking in his mind, can't wait to turn in my theme and stuff like that to my teacher, because he thinks that she's going to give him an A++ for talking about how he wants a BB gun. It's like, okay, dude, calm down. And more scenes with the father being a jerk and a loser, and the wife being, she just looks so battered. She looks so battered. I like, they got in the circumstances of this movie, they got the right people. Like, this looks like an actual family. They look like an actual unit. But I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it for like everything it's worth. I hate the fact that the little boy doesn't get any discipline, that the father gets to just curse out about and then have no repercussions after their son says something that's a curse word. Like, do y'all stupid? Y'all dumb? Like, of course he's going to emulate his parents. That's where, like, kids get actual, like, construction. Like, what they don't learn at home, they learn at school. And the teacher, like, seems like she's nice and kind and deals with things properly. But the mom seems to just let anywhere when the wind blows, and then punish her kids for doing the thing that they see and emulate. Like, based on their composition as a family, I'd say one of them's going to be in an abusive relationship and the other one's going to be the abuser. That's all I see. But that's just me. And I'm pretty sure Ralphie's the one that's going to be the abuser. Not just because he beat up his bully, because I highly recommend anyone beat up their bully. If you're being bullied and they won't stop, the only way to stop them is to beat them. Because, like, I guess I could say I had a bully in a sense, but I thought we were friends, and he just treated me a certain way, and I'm pretty sure he's in an abusive relationship now. He was too short to handle. Like, he was short. He wasn't a little person, so his height I can make fun of. I would never make fun of a little person's height, ever, because that's how they were born. People who are like Kevin Hart, who like to talk about black women and how horrible they are and how horrible his wife is and can't keep it in his household. I will talk about your weight, Mr. Tory Lames, Tory Too Short. I will talk about your height, Kevin Hart. I will talk about your height, Tory Too Short Lanes. Honestly. Because when you start shooting people because you're drunk, maybe you should stop drinking alcohol. How about be an adult? But I digress. If you want those opinions, I will be talking about that on Twitter. Like, that's basically where I take my opinions. So basically, like I told you, the bullies and all that, we start to see the bullies, and they don't fight back. They just get scared. Like, they don't necessarily take their lunch money or anything. They just get pushed over and stuff. Like, they're not even really bullies. They're just like terror team. They're like a terror team. They don't really do much. They don't really like. And I don't like the fact that their bully isn't in their class, because that's basically where bullies are. Why would he just, like, outside of school, they can beat him up. Inside of school are where bullies thrive, because they know that you don't want to get suspended, so you're just going to keep quiet, or you're going to do whatever, because, of course, you don't want to get in trouble. Like, people who actually cared about their grades and actually cared about staying in school like I did, they know that I'm not going to do anything, so they would, like, try to push my buttons while I'm on campus. I know they would not catch me outside, because we be popping, and you can tell your mom I beat you up. Beat her up, too. But, I digress. So, boy's working on his theme, like I said, and then Father Dude comes home. He's happy because he, like, won something or whatever, and he's waiting for it. And I'm pretty sure he has to wait a while for it to come. And the next scene after he realizes he gets the award and he's waiting for it is one of the most disgusting scenes. Like, this kid, she has to treat him like a pig in order for her youngest son to eat. And I think that that's, like, bad parenting, because it's like, what on earth? Stop. But whatever. So the thing comes, and he's like, fragile, because he's retarded. And he doesn't know what fragile, he doesn't know how to spell or sound out fragile. He thinks it's Italian, so he busts it open, and it's a lamp leg. And it's just like, I don't understand how anyone can be like turned on by this lamp leg. It's just like a leg, like it's a lamp leg, like it's just a leg. Like, I mean, I guess if you're into legs, but they make it seem scandalous and all that. I think it's like gaudy and gross looking. Like, I would never want a leg lamp, but the mom is just like, and the way she gets rid of this lamp goes to her passiveness. She is very passive, and I can't stand passive women. It's just like too much for me, too much to handle, like I said. And I guess, well, the top is like a tush cheek, but you know what? You don't usually see it when the lamp shades over it. But so basically, she notices her sons are acting crazy with the lamp, and father's acting crazy with the lamp. So he puts it out in the thing so everyone can see it through the window, and everyone was looking at it, and she's just like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. But we'll come back to that lamp later because it's a whole arc thing. So we're back at school where Ralphie is thinking that he's gonna get his name put on the board, an A+++, and everyone is going to clap for him because he wants a BB gun. Like, this is so insane, and everyone's just congratulating him and picking him up, and everyone's happy over his theme when that's never happened before. He really wants his BB gun, so he turns in the theme, and he gets chased by the loser again. They go get a Christmas tree. His father haggles for a Christmas tree, and so this is where I'm like, I cannot believe you passive woman, such a pathetic loser. You passive, pathetic loser. How are you going to take your anger because you are so weak? You are a weak woman. Women are not inherently weak, but you are weak. And you are going to put soap in your little boy's mouth because you know he can't do anything about it. When I said she seemed battered, she really does seem battered when you see this. So the nuts and bolts go into the pavement, and I don't know why you would curse when it's just like, okay, whatever. They say, oh, fudge, but he really says the F -- word. So the father's like, what'd you say? And he's like, and he's like, that's what I thought you said. And he told his mom, and he didn't hear that from his father. She's like, where'd you hear it from, mister? And he feels like in order to keep his family together, he has to lie on the behalf of his loser, good-for-nothing father. And it's just like, are you serious? For real? You best be joking. But whatever. So, straight up, like I said, they go home. She puts soap in his mouth because she can't do anything else as a little weakling, little feeble, little good for nothing, does nothing for no one. She must abuse her son by putting soap in his mouth because he cannot stop her because he is small and she is big. I'll usually side with women as long as they're not morally just against something specifically, like Candace Owens. I'm not gonna ever, the only time I supported her was when Noah Cyrus was being racist. And I hate that people even brought attention to that situation because literally not a day after she called Candace Owens and Nappy a hoe, she put out music. She was doing music. So it's crazy how white Anglo-Saxon people get to be horrible and do horrible things and still get money. Like Kim Kardashian does the same thing. She'll be like, I don't think black people deserve rights, but check out my body makeup at kimk.com. But I digress. I can't. So Ralph tells his mom that oh, well, I heard it from one of my friends. So she runs like the little loser she is, and she puts like the number in and calls his friend's mom, and says, oh, you know what Ralph said? And she's like, no, because I'm not in your house. And then she's like, he said that. And she's like, what? Crazy. Maybe you need to get your son in order. And basically, like, and she's like, you know where he heard it from? And she's like, father? And she's like, no, of course not. My husband would never curse. My husband is an angel. I am simping for my husband. And I only say simp because, like I said, you cannot be a simp of someone who, if you're in a relationship with them. But simping usually is done by women in relationships. They'll give up their life for their husband, and the husband will just divorce them in 10 years and get a younger wife. But whatever. So, straight up, he feels upset that he had to put soap in his mouth. So he has another one of his montage things where he has a thing in his mind, and he's like, well, if it wasn't for that soap, I wouldn't have gone blind. So she's just like, oh, if I was struck blind, then she'd be sorry. And she put the soap in her mouth to see what it tastes like, and she couldn't handle it for 1 second. So if you can't handle something that you give to your children, maybe you shouldn't be doing it to your children. Maybe. But that's just me, Not to get hostile. It's Christmas. So boy brings stuff to his teacher so that she can be all buttered up for when she grades the stuff. And then this little side quest thing about Little Orphan Annie is like, he's so happy and excited. It's one of those things like reality hits. It's really cool that they did this because this story is very legitimate. It's very awesome and it's very real. So as you get older, as a kid, there's this wonder about the world. There's this thing, like I said, some kids believe that adults have like superpowers and stuff, but what they really have is deductive reasoning and rational thinking. Things that kids just don't have because their brains, like I believe that there's a lot that I believe relating to consent, relating to signing documents, buying homes. Personally, if I were a dictator, I would straight up say 25 years of age, everything. Because your body is not fully developed until you are 25 years old. So how are you going to be drinking alcohol, ruining your skull, ruining your brain, ruining your liver, when you are not fully ready for anything yet? At 18, 21, like, I don't understand. I never felt the need to drink alcohol. Maybe people with horrible lives want to drink alcohol, but there's cannabis. And even with cannabis, I would rather people not smoke or do anything like that until they're like 25, until they're like fully developed. I really don't understand why that's so hard to comprehend. They just want people's money sooner. That's the only reason why the age of consent's 18, because they can sell condoms, they can sell anything to people at 18 and up. If they were 25 and up, they would have a longer time to wait for their money. Just saying. They don't care. They don't care about your development. But as I was saying, so he feels upset because he got this thing in the mail and he's like, yeah, I can't wait to open it and do all this. But he gets harsh set reality check and it's just not working out. It's not good. It's basically faulty. It's a faulty situation because the thing he was waiting for in the mail is basically a commercial. And everything's commercialized. Everything. Every single thing is commercialized. From your clothes to what you eat. Commercialized. Like, honestly. He was upset because the Little Orphan Annie thing wasn't anything secret. It wasn't anything cool. It was just, oh, don't forget to drink your Ovaltine or something. It's like milk or something. And so, here we go again with the cursing in the attic or basement or whatever that thing, not attic, basement or whatever he was doing. And then this is when the mom breaks the lamp And he thinks she did it on purpose because she didn't like it. But she really didn't even voice, because she is a loser, passive woman. Disgusting woman. And she didn't even say she didn't like it. So how did he even know she didn't like it? He married a passive woman. The least he can do is be like fair and take the stuff and like he did and put it outside and bury it in a hollow grave. Because he straight up is just upset at her for not wanting him oogling over an inanimate object when she's right there. Like, it's just like, I don't understand it. Guys, honestly, if you just want a fleshlight, be with a fleshlight. Seriously, stop wasting women's time. But I digress. He tried to fix it. It didn't work. He put it out in the yard, buried it, had a little ceremony for it because he's a loser. These parents are the worst. They're not the worst parents, but they are most definitely the worst couple in like Christmas history. The Griswolds parents are like way better. So the bullies mess with them for like a third time, and they're they go to school. Where do they go to school at? Because they go to the same school, and I guess they're in a different grade, I guess. But why are they messing with them? I guess, I don't know, because I was never bullied by people above me. It was always people in, like, if someone messed with me, it was people in my grade. So they beat this boy up. I guess they really do, but it's only when they're alone. They never beat them up when they're together. They could all beat them up. But so, what's-his-face is shocked to hear that he got a C+ on his theme, because he thought he was going to get a triple million A+. And he, instead of seeing the teacher as a nice person, he now sees her as a witch, which is insane. And she's like, P.S. you'll shoot your eye out. No one, like, why did she have to say that? Like, I think that's hilarious. That's why he thinks that they're all in cahoots. He thinks his mom is a clown, and he thinks his teacher is a witch. Like, honestly, that's what he sees his mom and dad as. I mean, not mom and dad, his mom and teacher as. Which I'm okay. She is a clown. So he is sad and walks home sad. And then he sees the bullies, and he's just full of rage because he wants a BB gun. And he's like, if I had a BB gun right now, I'd shoot you. But since I can't, I'm going to just beat you up. So he beat this boy up that looks like he's like maybe 3 years older than him. I don't know why he's messing with them. Like, pick on someone your own freaking size. But he's laughing at him. He's got braces. His parents have to be some sort of wealthy. I think it's insane that people use braces to show ugliness. When I had braces, and it was the best thing that happened in my life. Like, I hated getting the braces, but it's just like, and then I'm digressing. The other bully that sees that boy getting beat up, he's like, hey, don't do that. Why are you beating him up? He straight up sits there and watches him beat up little kids every day. What do you mean? What do you freaking mean? So his mom gets there and sees him, and I guess she feels bad for putting the soap in his mouth, so she doesn't tell the father that he got into a fight, which is insane, because it's just like, guys will be like, oh, right on, man, right on. And why didn't he say, hey, I'm getting freaking bullied at school, so I beat this kid up? Oh, fighting's never the end. Okay, so let me just die then. Let me just freaking die then. Because this boy's beating up everyone every day. So I don't understand why people don't understand. Like, that's what, like, if in gym, if they had a thing to where you put your name on the board, and if you got beef with someone, you put your name right next to their name, and then they'd be fighting at gym. Why don't we do that? Everyone would feel a lot better if we could all just fight and get it through. Like, fight and get it over with. Like, I don't understand why they didn't do that in school. If I ever became a dictator, I would mandate every school have that policy. You fight until you feel like everything's straight and you square. After that, you can't say nothing or do nothing about that situation. That's why you have it in writing for all that. yeah, if you want to play games and you want to do stuff, and if people are getting bullied, teachers see it. Teachers always saw me getting picked on or doing something. If something happened, they saw it always. They always saw it. They did nothing about it because they don't get paid enough to do nothing about it. I would also put in that bill the mandate that they get 30% more of their salary. Honestly, they really need more. I would even bring it up to 50% more. Honestly, teachers are basically babysitters, and they get paid less than babysitters, and they actually teach your kids stuff, and babysitters just probably sleep sometimes. Like, teachers never get to sleep. They are up all day. They are up before the students, and they stay up long after the students. Students may have to do homework, but teachers have to make the homework. Teachers have to actually put forth effort. Except one teacher that I saw, what's that girl's name? Miss Stubbs. All she did was take books out of workbooks and gave it to us. And then was upset when I was laughing at something. She's like, I'm going to just let y'all do this on your own. Like, let us do it on our own then. We can read. If we can't read, you're not doing your job right. How about that, Miss Stubbs? How about that? But whatever. She was just hating because my mom was skinny and she was fat. But Ralph goes home. He cries. He cries because he's got a little bit of his mom and half of his dad inside. He's weak. And then, what's his face? His brother is hiding in the thing at the bottom because he's like, oh, Dad's going to kill Ralphie. I don't understand. What are these kids? What? Do they not live in the same reality? Why would he be upset at his son defending himself? Defending himself. He got thrown a snowball at. Everyone knows at the school that those kids are trifling. How about you make some phone calls instead of being upset at your son? Why don't you make some freaking phone calls to some parents? Because since you got everyone's phone number, you can just call them up, Miss Ma'am. Call up that boy's mom and say, hey, how about you get your braces face looking boy with red hair out of my son's face? How about that? Like, you got to read him. Read him from the flow up to the show up. Read him. Because he doesn't have any home training beating people up. He's not even getting anything from it. He just gets the joy of spreading misery. He doesn't get no money. He doesn't get nothing from it. It's one thing to have a hustle. It's one thing to have a hustle. It's another thing to just be cruel. Like, honestly, if you I digress. I digress to the floor. So they go and they look at this thing, and Ralphie really doesn't care. He just wants to go see Santa Claus. He thinks that Santa Claus is going to give him what he wants for Christmas because he knows that his mom's not going to, and he knows that his teacher, for some reason, I don't know why he thought that his teacher and his mom were in cahoots. I guess because they said the same thing, but he thought that they were in cahoots in the beginning. That's why he even made the theme about the BB gun. He goes to see Santa Claus, and this is the funniest part of the movie because he sits in line for 8 hours, and he goes up there, and he's scared like everyone else. He's like a kid. Like I said, the narrator is an adult, and he's narrating his life. But he, in the time that we're seeing the movie, he's a child, and he's just sitting there because he's like scared. He's like, what is this guy? Even though he knows it's Santa Claus, I don't know why he was scared, because I wasn't scared of Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or anybody that I went to go see. But this boy straight up was like, I want a registered rifle. And then he's like, you'll shoot your eye out, kid. And then he's like, ho, ho, ho. And he steps on his face. The Santa Claus steps on this boy's face, and he falls down the slide, and he just sits there for like 10 minutes. And his parents are like, what are you doing? Like, why are you so strange? And then they get up. So they go home. It's up. Christmas is there. Everyone's happy. They go downstairs, and he's looking around, and he opens up stuff, and everyone opens up stuff. And this is another one of those things that is a classic to the movie. He wears this bunny suit that his grandma or whoever made for him. And I think that's pretty cool that she made that. And it's like, I really don't know why grandmas and stuff like my grandma, she has Alzheimer's, so she doesn't do stuff like this anymore. But she was cool. I got this stocking that I can literally fit into this day. Like, she bought from a store a big old huge stocking that was on display, and she was like, how much is it? And they're like, it's not for sale. And she took out her checkbook and was like, how much, boy? I talk green. I don't talk no white. I don't talk black. I talk green. So she bought it. They were like, all right. I thought that was pretty hilarious when she did that. So everyone opens their presents and everyone's satisfied except Ralph, because he knows that he didn't get what he wanted, and his parents are just like, oh, look at what Santa brought. And then he puts the stuff in the BB gun and he goes outside, and of course he shoots his eye out. Basically he doesn't really shoot his eye. Like, they say they'll shoot his eye out and that's the whole thing, but it's just he shoots the BB gun on metal and it shoots back at him. And hey, maybe before you get your son a BB, I think they are the worst parents, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, putting everything into perspective, after saying all this, they are the worst parents. Because why would they not look into like BB guns and stuff and teach him how to use it, and not just throw him outside into the snow without help? Like, he just went outside, and he's a kid. He doesn't know that things are going to ricochet. So he knocks his glasses off, and it almost hits him in the eye. If it weren't for his glasses, they would have hit him in the eye. But he said he shot his eye out because he's a kid and he doesn't know what shooting your eye out means. Literally your eye socket, like, out, like. But, so, he steps on his glasses and it really looks bad. It looks like he shot his eye out when he really didn't. It just knocked his glasses off and scared him and left a little mark. It left a little mark, but it'll go away. So he starts crying and he pretends that it wasn't the BB gun, which the mom believes because she's stupid. And he's like, an icicle hit me. And like, okay. So that happens, and all while she's doing that, and the father is like doing whatever. The dogs, I forgot about the dogs. In the beginning, there were these dogs that were running through I don't understand how the neighbors have these hounds that just go in people's houses. I'm telling you, if any dog tries to go in my house, he might die. He might die. Like, I'm not gonna just let big old huge dogs run through my house. But the dogs come in after, like, they come the first time, and then they're like running around, and then the second time they come, they run through the house and they eat their Christmas food. So instead of having Christmas dinner at their house, they go to the only place that's open, a Chinese restaurant. And I think that's pretty cool because representation, am I right? The only Asians are in Asian restaurants, right? Only black people only exist in increments of one. Like, only black people only exist when they're just 3 people in the classroom that are black. Ain't no Hispanics in this movie either. But whatever. I don't even know where this is located to know what the demographics should be. I know it should be more ethnicities. But, hey, I don't know when this movie was made. And I don't think that, it was a different time matters. Because it's always the same time. Time is relative. Honestly, y'all like to talk about how there's different perspectives. The only reason why people feel good about things when they're in the past is because they slowly lose brain cells and forget. Like, honestly, when people say they need time to deal with something, it's because they just want time to forget about it and to forget about how upset they were when that happened. Time really doesn't matter. Like, slavery was bad then, slavery is bad now. There's no time that I will accept it was fine to marry children off. No, it wasn't. It was not fine. It was just acceptable socially. And if y'all don't understand that, I digress. So they're at the Chinese restaurant, and they make them sound that way when they know good and well that they don't sound that way, but whatever. They do a little racist undertone stuff that I'm pretty sure that those Asian people did not want to do on set, but they did it anyway for that coin, because we always have to do stuff for coin. Like, it is what it is. But they eat dinner, and they have some duck. Duck is delicious. I highly recommend duck. Duck is better than chicken. Duck is better than Cornish game hens. Duck is better than all that meat combined. If you have duck and you don't like it, it's because someone didn't make it correctly. You must make the skin thin and crispy. It'll be too chewy. And if it's too chewy, just eat the meat. The meat's fine. The duck's skin is very fatty. So I highly suggest you leave it out and keep it dry. And you gotta hang it up or whatever, or put it over a wine bottle. So everything's fine. Everyone got what they wanted. He got his BB gun. He shot his eye out. And Christmas is happy. Everything's all's well ends well. They got food. And that's basically the end of the movie. It's a really good movie. I think this house where that took place, the movie is up to this day. I think you can go and see it and stuff. But yeah, that's it. 12 days of Christmas. We did it. My throat doesn't feel that bad anymore. It really doesn't. Yesterday, it got worse after I made that video. But after this, I'm really going to not speak. I'm going to probably be posting this the day of Christmas. So, Merry Christmas, y'all. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Feliz Navidad. I think Hispanic people celebrate Christmas the day before or something like that. But I'm happy for everyone. Happy Yule. Like every single thing, because I only see Hanukkah and Kwanzaa on my calendar. If I made a calendar, I'd put everybody's stuff as much as I could, because I don't know people in the Himalayas mountains. I don't know what y'all celebrate, but I try to be inclusive as much as possible. People who don't want to be inclusive, they don't want people to be happy, or they have been inclusive. They've always been included, so they don't know what it feels like to be excluded. But yeah, that's it. Happy holidays. It's probably gonna be a long time before y'all get another video. I may be doing one for New Year's Eve. My dog of 15 years recently passed away, and I was thinking about doing a video about that. Sorry to end it on a sad note, but 2020 has been real sad, and I may do a video about that, about how to know when your dog is leaving this world. That might be my next video, or I might just not even do that, scrap it, and just wait till next year. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what goes down. See you later. I highly recommend all these movies that I talked about. I highly recommend you watch them with your family, with your cousin, with your loved ones, with your dogs. Please keep them close to you. They're not going to always be there. Your dogs are companions, and so is your cats. I don't like cats, but hey, whatever. I'm a dog person. I'm a lizard person. I'm a snake person. I'm not a spider. I like spiders, but I would never have one in my house. I like them outside. I like them Charlotte's Web style in the corner, but I don't want them in the house. They can be in the house to eat bugs, because I'd rather have spiders crawling around than, cockroaches or anything like that. But yeah, that's it.